900 house cleaning episodes. Now what? Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's show is brought to us by housecleaning360.com, and this is a website that partners homeowners with house cleaners. And so if you have a house cleaning business, you want to list your business. There are paid and free listings, but it gets you out in front of the public, and also it's got rich schema markup on it, which means that the search bots will read that and it will help boost you in the search engines when you list your business. So check it out at housecleaning360.com. And like I said, there are free listings. It costs you nothing to at least just list your business. All right, on to today's show. We are moving through 900 Ask a House Cleaner episodes. And this week, me and my team have sat down and we've looked at some of the lessons learned and some of the things we would do differently and some of the things we would do all over again. Now, one of the sanctities of the business and one of the gloriousnesses of the business is as every facet of the business has come along and as we've tweaked every element of the business, we've had a chance to sit down and kind of troubleshoot what happens if we do this. And so before we actually ever take a leap, one of the business strategies that we use at Savvy Cleaner is we throw it out on the table as an idea first. I know lots of coaches and consultants will say, ready, fire, aim. And they want you to just jump out there and fire your gun, and then you'll aim at whatever later and you'll tweak and you'll make adjustments. I understand where that comes from, okay? The understanding of that is they don't want you to linger and procrastinate and not get started. They want you just to jump out there and do something and tweak it as you go. I think that's really, really, really foolish advice because you can save a lot of time and a lot of heartache if you will troubleshoot the process before you get there. So, lots of people ask me, how are you different from other consultants? I don't want you out there winging it, okay? I don't want you. That's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of energy. I want you to strategize before you do something so that you now have the information you need in order to go straight towards your target instead of going in a zigzag pattern all the way to get there, okay? That's my philosophy. So we throw something out on the table and we look at it from every angle. What happens if we do this? How much is that going to cost? Who's going to be involved? What do we need to do to make that happen? How much time is that going to take? How much money is that going to cost? And we start looking at all the different elements of what happens if we do this. Then we throw out the worst case scenario. What happens if it all goes kaput? Then what? How much money do we lose? How much time do we lose? What relationships or who do we hurt in the process if this falls through and it doesn't work out properly? What is at stake? And then we look at what are the opportunity costs lost if we don't do this? Like if we don't do this, then what happens? Like for the YouTube channel, what happens if we don't do a YouTube channel? Well, the reality is nothing bad happens, right? We don't have a YouTube channel now. If we don't do a YouTube channel, nothing bad happens to us. We're just in the same spot we were in before. What happens if we do a YouTube channel? Well, it could potentially connect us with lots of people and you go through those scenarios. How much is it going to cost, right? So for everything that we've done in the business, every tweak that we've made, we've thrown it on the table and we've done a full 360. And we've tried to figure out, does this make sense for our business? Then we have to stop and figure out what are the rules and regulations behind doing that in our business. So when I first got started in the YouTube space, it was just me. And I only could do a couple things by myself. I couldn't do everything all at once. And so I had to be really clear about what it was I did do and what it was I didn't do. And so in the beginning, I said no shipping, inventorying, or warehousing any products. And this is as we started to monetize the show. So I don't want a garage full of anything. So if people are going to ship me their cleaning supplies or whatever it is, I don't want that in my garage, right? That just becomes like hoarding. And I have to deal with that at some point. And then also there's the storage factor. If you end up with stuff, you have to get a warehouse or a storage unit or whatever, and that costs money. And then what is the loyalty to whoever's stuff it is? Are you going to try to push it? What happens if they come out with a new version? What happens if there's a new variety? What happens if there's a competitor that undercuts you? All those things. So for me, no inventorying, warehousing, or shipping any products. So somebody came to me after we started the show and after we got up and running and they said, would you like a clothing line? And I said, absolutely not. And I'm thinking of boxes of t-shirts and clothing and aprons in my garage. Absolutely not. I don't want that. And they said, what if all you did was you provided the graphics to us and we did all of the shipping, the inventorying, the warehousing, the returns, and the collection of money? And I said, whoa, wait a second, now we're talking, right? So one of the things that this show has brought to me is a whole bunch of opportunities where, because I was crystal clear about what it was I did and didn't do, I was able to make very fast decisions. And so people would say, how about this? No, not a good fit for us. Not personal, it's just not a good fit for where we are right now in the business. Then other people would come to us and say, what about this? I'm like, that's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Yes, let's work on that and do that as a partnership. So since we've had the YouTube show, since we've been producing this, one of the things that has been the biggest eye-opener for me is pull versus push marketing. So with lots of us, we are trying to pull business to us. And so as a result of that, we are pushing our ads out into the market. And so we end up paying for ads, and we end up running Facebook ads and Google AdWords, and we end up spamming people with emails and all kinds of things like push. And all it does is it really just pushes people away. So we decided to just stop and stand in one spot. Let's create what we do best, and other people will come to us. Now, it sounds really arrogant, but that is pull marketing. When you have your foundation of marketing in place, you stand in one spot and it comes to you. It's like going to a party and you walk in and you stand in one spot and the entire room revolves around you. You start a conversation with someone else comes up, you introduce the two of them start talking, and someone else comes up and talks to you. And you keep networking but you never leave the spot in the room. You can work an entire party standing in one spot. And it's the same with our business. So instead of us chasing all these different opportunities, we've literally decided to create what it is we do, stand in one spot and let the opportunities come to us. And it has been so refreshing and so easy, and it has been so organic, because the things that we've agreed to, because we know what we do and what we do not do, we've not run down any weird rabbit holes, and we haven't spun off in any weird direction that wasn't directly associated with what we're doing. Now, as a result of that, since we started the YouTube show, and I'll go back 1 year before that, because in 2016, that's when I pivoted to move my consulting business online. And I did blogging for a year. And then in my second year, we did the podcast and the YouTube show. So in the second year, from 2017 until right now, we've started 6 different companies that have been a result of people coming to us with the perfect fit. And it solved problems that were existent within the space we were working in. So they're all revolving around the house cleaning space and house cleaners and cleaning business owners. And so the projects that we're working on, instead of going off on a wild tangent to diversify our interests and our finances, we're still working in the same spot with the same set of clients, with the same challenges and problems and results that we were working with before. It's just that now we have different assets that we can provide them. And so it's been a beautiful journey. One of the hardest projects I've ever done in my entire life is doing a podcast, a YouTube show, and a blog every single day. It's an enormous amount of work. If you asked me, would I do it again? I would do it again in a heartbeat. And without a lot of cringing, because I personally have put in more work than I ever thought possible. And as we started bringing on business owners and different business elements, they're literally set up as their own businesses. They're their own LLCs. They have their own bank accounts. They have their own social media accounts. They are set up with the end in mind. So this person will go off on their own, or we will sell this asset at some point down the road. But every business that we've created has been set up that way. And so we've learned an awful lot about business by doing this way. But would I do it again? Yes, I would, just because I love you guys. I love the show. I love what it's brought to me. It's really opened my eyes, and it's forced me into some of the most uncomfortable situations of my life, from learning just a variety of different things I never knew. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't learn like 10 or 15 new things. And now I have to find new friends, because there are things that I get really excited about, but there's no one in my world that understands even a clue what I'm talking about. So I have to go into a chat room like, is there anyone here that's working on CSS? Is there anyone here that's working on, SEO or something? And so then I find like new groups of people. I'm like, oh, everyone here, they're my people, right? All these people are doing coding, or they're doing weird kind of things. And then I get really excited because I learned something new. So it's been an incredible journey of growth and progression and learning and excitement. And at middle age, if I could have guessed that I would be where I am right now, and that I would be learning the things that I'm learning, and that I would get to show up every day and create amazing new things. It's one of the most fun and the biggest journeys and the best journeys that I've ever had. So coming full circle, what now? What do I do next? Well, I have a new set of skills now that I never had as just a house cleaner. And so moving forward, I only presume we're going to follow on in the steps that we've created, because we're on a magnificent path right now that I don't want to get off of. This is really fun. I really like showing up every day, and I really like doing this. So I'm here. I hope you'll stay with us. I've enjoyed you being here, and I hope we can do this together. So until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.